Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The M Word. My name's Robin. I'm the Technical Director here at Man and Machine in the UK. And as always, thank you very much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you here. These sessions, we air them. We don't wear them. We air them. These sessions, we're going to be full of mistakes today. I am hungrier than an orangutan who hasn't had his bananas. I've had no lunch, so there's going to be mistakes. There's probably going to be sarcasm. I won't even apologise for it. I'm just going to carry on. We air these sessions weekly. There we go. And the idea behind these sessions is to share a workflow, a tip, a trick, new feature, just something that hopefully you find useful, interesting, maybe helps you out in the Autodesk tools that we love, sell, service and support here at Man and Machine. So sometimes we look at AutoCAD, sometimes we look at Inventor, Revit, Vault, and today we're looking at the Autodesk Construction Cloud, the online cloud-based common data environment that will work really nicely in your construction projects. And specifically what we're looking at today is working with Power BI to be able to visualize our data that sits on the Autodesk Construction Cloud. If time permits, I will also briefly talk about the Insight Builder and maybe explain why you might use that over Power BI or vice versa. But hopefully this gives you something that you find useful. And as always, give us some feedback. Let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear. Ask us some questions. Give us some feedback and let us know what you want to see in future sessions. As I say, these sessions are weekly, so reach out to us on the socials, the LinkedIn, and just let us know what you want to see, and we can make these sessions as specific as we need to give you the answers that you need. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just sat inside of a project on my ACC. It's just one of our demo projects that we have here inside of Man and Machine. I'm just going to close my Teams window because it's making me chuckle. I'm going to open up my ACC, and within ACC I've just got a build project. So whether you are working on docs, whether you're working on collaborate, or whether you're working on build, the process here is going to be the same. Clearly, if you've got build, you've got access to more information, but the process typically is the same. You want to be logged on as an administrator really to do this process, so reach out to your admin if you're not and get them to follow through the process that we're about to do. But it's really straightforward, this. If you already know Power BI, great. If you don't know Power BI, you're in for a ride, I assure you. But it's fairly straightforward. There's some good templates that give you a great starting point. And actually Insight Builder might work better for you if you do not already have Power BI know-how. So from my ACC, I'm just going to go to the very top left, use the drop down, and I'm going to click Insights. So Insight's kind of our reporting area inside of ACC. It gives us an insight into what's going on in our project. And we've got all sorts of dashboards that are off the shelf here inside of ACC. So if I just go to dashboards, you can see that I've got a load of stuff going on, and it's starting to give me metadata, feedback, and information about my project, or indeed projects, live as a dashboard that I can drive. And this is great. Until recently, these were kind of fairly set. We couldn't customize these in any way, shape, or form. Some of you may now notice that we have an Insight Builder tool. And the Insight Builder allows us to create our own kind of reports. I'm not going to show that today. I think we'll do that at another session in the future. But if I just open Insight Builder up, it allows us to interrogate the data within our construction cloud in a very visual way, but directly on ACC. I don't have to push out to Power BI. I don't have to have separate skills or a separate license of Power BI to be able to view, interact, and build these. I can do it purely within the Construction Cloud. And that is a massive benefit, because if you build a what's the word I'm looking for? A dashboard, there we go, or a data set inside of Power BI, to share that with others within your organization, they may well need to have their own Power BI licenses to view them and to refresh those reports. So Insight Builder gets around that, but the data that it can pull is not as complete as the Power BI data right here and now on the 28th of August 2025. There are still things that it can't pull. For example, meeting minutes is a good one that we can pull in Power BI, but we can't pull on Insight Builder. But just to give you literally a few click as to how this works. So we can use Insight Builder to create analysis or create dashboards. So I can go to dashboards here, and you can see that I've got a load of template dashboards here set for me. So I could just go to my reviews dashboard, I can give that a click, and that will instantly give me a dashboard that I can use that's looking at this project. And as you can see, this dashboard gives me loads of input. It's interactive, so I can move around, I can click on things and get feedback as to what's going on that dashboard. And this gives you an indication of the kind of thing that we can build with Insight Builder. We've got account level and project level feedback. It's basically Power BI directly inside of ACC. It's brilliant. No additional licenses needed. It's great. It works really well, but there are limitations. You can also do analysis inside of the Insight Builder. So if you go to the analysis area, you can create a new analysis whereby we then tell it to go and have a look at a specific data set that exists, like issues, for example, and then we can tell it to use that information within an analysis. It will then take that data set and allow me to build an interactive analysis inside of the Insight Builder. I'm not going to go through it today, but it's very similar to Power BI. So it works well. Take a look at it, and it could save you some license costs because you don't need to have that Power BI subscription as well. But this is not what this session is all about. We want to look at the Power BI workflow. So head back to Insights. The first thing that we need to do is understand that Power BI does not automatically connect to every single piece of data. It's not live. It uses a data connector to extract the information that it wants. And you control what that data connector does or doesn't have inside it. I thought I had pulled a data connector for this, so I'm going to make sure it's put me back into the right project. Just bear with me. Let's just go back into my project and go to Insight, just in case it hasn't. So what your data connector is going to allow you to do is run an extraction from your ACC hub or hubs to pull data. So here you can see that I created one just last week, and you can run these manually or you can schedule them. So if this is something that typically you're going to be looking at day in, day out, you want to schedule that data connector to run once a day overnight or twice a week or whatever it is that suits your schedule. I'm just going to show you how to set that up. You literally click Run Extraction. You choose with tick boxes what areas of ACC you want to pull information from. So if you were only building a dashboard based on issues in the project, you would go and find issues and pull them. So you'd select what you want to pull and tick them. You then choose what duration of information you want to pull. And obviously the bigger duration, the longer the pull will take and the bigger the report will be. So you can choose the past 24 hours or indeed a custom start date and end date. Okay. So step one, choose the information that you want. Try not to pull everything, pull just what you need, otherwise your data set is going to be massive for no reason. Once you're there, choose the date range that you're working on. If you want to schedule them, you can. You choose your schedule, how often you want them to run, when, and then you choose the same things, where you're pulling the data and the date range that you're working on. Once you've got that, and it will take several minutes to run initially, you'll have this list here will show you everything that you've got. And you can either leave them here on ACC, or you can go ahead and click download to run them locally. The benefit of downloading them is it essentially extracts those databases locally, so your Power BI is only working locally, but you can just connect it straight up to here, which is the process that I'm going to follow. So step one, create your data connector. Once you've done that, to save you a lot of time and effort, look to the very top right of your screen and you have Power BI templates. Autodesk provide a whole host of templates to use with Power BI to give you some basic dashboards. The way in which ACC works is you've got a database that has several tables. When I say several, a lot. And everything works with relationships. So you'll have an issue which will have an ID and maybe some properties, but the status of that issue will be actually in another table called issue statuses, and the reference to the model will be in another table which will be related models or something like that. So actually to build these up from scratch when you're coming in fresh can be quite tricky to make sure you've got the right databases and the right information. The way that I learned was I took these Power BI templates and I used these as a base, because you can pick these apart and understand what they work and how they work and use that to your benefit to build your own data sets. And as you can see on here, we've got typically account-based and project-based templates. So we've got ACC meeting minutes for accounts, so across the whole account or across an individual project. We've got activities across an account or across a project. All the way down to some BIM 360 specific things if you're still running the BIM 360 functionality, checklists, cost dashboards, KPIs. We've got forms on here, typical documents. There are a load of examples to go and play around with. What I'm going to do is just I'll use issues because that's the one that we've just been talking about when we talked about the download. So let's go ahead and pull issues. And just to save a bit of time today, I will pull a project-specific issue dashboard. So we basically have the ability to download two templates. Are we going to use the CSV or are we going to use the data connector? We're using the data connector because we've set that up and we're saying that we're going to pull that from the data connector and that's what we're going to use. If you want to use the local database file that it downloads, then you can use the CSV template. So I'm going to download that, which is just going to take a couple of seconds to download. It's a very small file. And then I'm going to go ahead and open that inside of Power BI, which is going to open typically on my other screen, which is down here. And I will just wait for it to load before I drag it across. Please hold, caller. So what you can't see, you can now, is the first thing it will do if you've not used one of these before is it's going to ask you to log in because you need to access that data connector that we've just created. And in order to do that, we need to know some information. If you are your administrator and you go from your drop down at the top, we want to go down to account admin. From account admin, we want to go down to settings. And what we are looking for is our account name. It's this one here, MAM Limited. So that's mine. So I'm going to copy that exactly word for word, and I'm going to paste that into account name at the top. I also want to have my project name. So I'm going to go ahead and find my Cardano Wings Hospital account project. I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing, and I'm just going to make sure I'm like for like, not 2026. That won't get me anywhere. Cardano Wings Hospital, there we go. And let's go to settings and pull our name. And I'm basically just copy and paste, just making sure that I'm absolutely correct, word for word. You then want to choose your region. So what region is your ACC hub hosted? If you don't know that, simply look at your domain. If you're acc.autodesk.com, you're on the US servers. If you're .eu, you're on the European servers, so on and so forth for the other regions around the world. So I'm specifying my account name, my project name and my region, and I press load. At this point it will ask you to log in to your Autodesk account. It will come up with a refresh, it will sit there for a few seconds and it will probably error and it will say that you need to provide credentials or your credentials are wrong. Something like this. This will always pop up. We're just going to go ahead and say sign in as a different user. We're going to go ahead and sign in using our Autodesk ID. It's remarkably difficult to type when you've got a microphone right over your keyboard. So we're going to sign in to our Autodesk account and then we're going to go ahead and click connect. Now, this should go ahead and connect without issues. I have seen several customers that run into a few snags. What is snags? A snag. Several snags or issues. We have seen duplicate account names exist in ACC. Usually happens if you go and set up a trial. You have a trial of ACC and you call it man and machine. Hey, brilliant. That trial expires. Month later, you buy ACC, you set up a hub and you call it man and machine, and somehow the Autodesk system has then got this old legacy deleted hub, but in the system, it's still there. So if you have an error, it's worth just checking one area to make sure that it's picking up on the correct account. It would all be fixed if Autodesk did this via account ID or hub ID rather than name. But nonetheless, I'm just going to pull that up here. I will show you what to do if you get that error. You would go across to your data, you'd right click and you'd say edit query. That will take you to your Power BI query editor. And then on the left hand side, if you scroll down, you've got data source here. And you can see that you've got account name, project name and region. If you went to this data source table, or is it the admin accounts, can't quite remember. One of them will then list multiple accounts that have that name. This is it. So under admin accounts, you can see I've only got one, MAM Limited, but I have seen customers with one display name have several items listed. If that's the case, we just filter them. So we would choose to filter, we'd copy this ID here, and we'd filter it just by the correct ID. That would then remember that you want to use that one every time. If that didn't make any sense, just give us a call and we can help you out. But we have seen that with a few clients. So here we are. It's refreshed, it's pulled the data connector, and it's given us our dashboard for issues inside of ACC. Power BI, sorry. And you can see at the bottom we've got two tabs. We've got an account tab and a project tab. So it's remarkably similar to the data, not the data connector, the insight builder. But Power BI is great because we can come in here and we can use this live. So I could say, I want to look at only issues which are documentation conflict with this nice deep sort of orangey red color. So if I click on that in the pie, everything in the rest of the report will be filtered, which is great. I could then say, okay, well, I actually only want to see things that are assigned to Mark Pettit. And it would show me that he has one assigned to him. Or maybe I want to see how many Richard's got assigned. And it would show me all of his individual ones. We can look at who's created them. I can see who's closed them. And I can go across and really start to interrogate this data to see what's going on with my project at any point in time. This is a fully working template. It works really nicely. And again, all of these, we can come in and start really using these to our benefit. So show me all open issues that are of type, maybe we want to have quality. No, bad example. RFI, bad example. Coordination. There we go. That are of type coordination. And it starts to give you that instant feedback. At any point, what you see on the screen in Power BI can be exported, so we can click any one of these three dots and export the data out, so long as you've got permission to do so. But simply put, we now have this data set, this ACC data set inside of Power BI. So I want to share this now to my wider organization to give access to people that maybe don't have an ACC license. I can choose to publish this. I'm just going to save it. And I'm going to choose to publish this up to, where do I want it? Let's put it in my downloads and just call it YouTube Live and hit save. And then from there, I'm going to publish this up to my workspace. So this will take this Power BI dashboard and it's going to publish it onto the internet, onto my dashboard. So if I then open that in a browser, it's going to allow me to drive that ACC report directly from inside of my web browser. That could be put into Teams, so you could see it directly inside of Teams, within a Teams chat, within a PowerPoint presentation, you name it. That's the great benefit of Power BI, is that it's within that Microsoft Office 365 environment. So it's live to the data connector, remember. If someone adds an issue now, it's not going to show up until the data connector is refreshed, which is why you want to run it on a schedule. But this then gives me the ability to have this report, maybe keep it up to date overnight or a couple of times a week, and we then have a live view into our project inside of Power BI. To take that a step further and customize it, you absolutely can once you know how Power BI works. If you select any one of these visuals, you'll notice that whether it's the pie here, whether it's one of these slicers, which is a filter over here, or whether it's this table, you've got a load of columns. These columns are drag and dropped from a data source. So these are all the database tables that I'm looking at to drive this report. And you can see that this table is looking at issues. And it has assigned to, created by, created at, so on and so forth. To customize this table to give it more information, such as I want to see the, what could I put on here? I want to see, I want the URL to be far left. So I'm going to grab the URL and move it next to ID. Instantly this updates. I then want to type in and look for my, I thought I had comments on here, but maybe I don't. Let's go with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Response. I'm going to just drag response onto the end there and show you that that updates with a blank column, not very useful. Updated by. Turn that on. We literally just put these fields in and it gives us more information. Once you've played around with a few of these default templates, we can quite easily learn how to build our own dashboard that shows us all the different data that we need at any different point in time. But what's cool is it remains linked. So you see that this URL here, if I go back to my web published URL and just scroll to the right, against this one I have a URL which I can click. If I click the URL, it will take me directly to that issue inside of ACC, which is issue 2. And then from there, naturally, I can see the exact problem or the exact issue that exists. If that has a link to the model, I could then go across directly to the model. So that ability to drive a live visual report, which we can use to, yes, interrogate, yes, extract data, but more used as a collaborative dashboard. If you're in a design review meeting, to get around the table with this up on a screen where you can go through issues, go directly to those issues and update them, it's a really, really useful tool. I like it. I think it works well. I'm a big fan of Power BI. Just be careful with the licensing. If you publish this, the likelihood is those others will need a license to view it. Check out Insight Builder if this becomes a problem. And with that, you should now know how to use those templates and get Power BI connected to and working with the Autodesk Construction Cloud. If you have a specific example or a specific requirement in this area, just get in touch. Reach out to us on LinkedIn, put something in the comments, give us an email. Let us know what you're struggling with, what kind of dashboards you're trying to produce, and we can absolutely help you out and do those with you. So let us know if you need some support. I think we'll do a follow-up which goes through the Insight Builder in a bit more detail in the weeks ahead, so watch out for that one. In the meantime, don't forget to give us a like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe if you've really enjoyed it and you want to see when we go live, and don't forget to check out the rest of our content because, I'm going to say it, I'm quite big-headed, it's really good. We've got a lot of great videos from my team and from the wider team here at Man and Machine, whether it's demonstrations, how-tos, tips and tricks, new features. Please check out the channel to keep up to date. Give us a subscribe, give us a like, and we will see you same time next week, and we'll do it all again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.